Have you ever seen a picture so striking it just sticks with you?
Oh, yeah. Tons of them.
Well, Bill Moyers was talking about this NASA picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's this picture of a supernova remnant.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's left over after a star explodes.
Right.
And thousands of light years away, too.
Wow.
He said it looks like a giant hand just reaching out across space.
Huh.
And get this.
Okay.
He mentioned that this happened way back when humans were still figuring out, like, how to use rocks as tools.
Really?
I know, right?
Wow.
So think about that for a second.
Yeah.
These cosmic events are unfolding over just unimaginable stretches of time,
That's incredible.
while our ancestors were, like, just starting to scratch the surface of technology.
That's wild.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is. It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It really does.
When you think about these cosmic events that occurred, millennia before we even started writing history,
Right.
and the fact that they still have visible consequences today that we can observe and photograph.
Exactly.
It's a powerful reminder of just how vast the universe is.
And that's what we're going to be diving into today.
Oh, this is going to be good.
We're unpacking a conversation
Okay.
between Bill Moyers and the one and only Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Amazing.
And we've got excerpts where they explore some truly mind-bending ideas.
I bet.
Like dark matter.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the possibility of multiple universes.
Oh.
And even that ongoing debate about science and faith.
Oh, that's interesting.
So our mission
What is it?
is to really extract these captivating nuggets of knowledge.
I love that.
There's aha moments that broaden your understanding
Right.
without, feeling like you're drowning in astrophysics.
Makes sense.
Like we want to keep it light and fun,
Exactly.
but still really dive deep.
Yeah.
So it's important to know that even at the very forefront of scientific exploration, there are still these profound,
Right.
fundamental mysteries that remain.
Oh, for sure.
So right at the beginning of their conversation, Tyson touches on dark energy.
Oh, yeah.
This mysterious force that's causing the expansion of the universe to speed up.
Right.
And dark matter, this unseen gravitational influence that we can't directly observe.
Wow.
These are the big questions that scientists are still actively wrestling with.
Fascinating.
So let's dig into dark matter a bit.
Okay, let's do it.
Tyson described how it's visualized in his planetarium show.
Oh, cool.
And so forget about bright, shiny stuff that we can see.
Okay.
He's talking about these dark regions that have a stronger gravitational pull.
Okay.
And these regions are actually pulling the visible matter towards them.
Oh, wow.
And he likened it to a webwork that has this almost organic feel,
Interesting.
like a map of connections in a brain.
Like a neurosynaptic map?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty striking image.
It really is.
But how do we even know this dark matter exists?
Right.
If we can't see it directly?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a great question.
It is.
So as Tyson explains, our computer simulations of the universe, which are based on all the physics we understand,
Right.
they seriously can't reproduce the large-scale structure that we observe.
So
The way galaxies cluster together and form these massive filaments across the cosmos,
okay.
unless
Yeah.
we include this extra gravitational force in the calculations.
Interesting.
It's like we're missing a key ingredient.
It's like a recipe that's not coming out right.
Exactly.
Because we don't have all the ingredients.
Right.
That's a great way to think about it.
So everything we see, all the stars and galaxies,
Yeah.
it's only a tiny fraction of the universe's total mass.
Oh, wow.
In dark matter,
Yeah?
it's like the scaffolding that's
Really?
holding it all together.
I see.
It's completely changing our picture of what the universe is made of.
So it's like you see a finished cake.
Yeah.
And even though you can't see the individual grains of flour anymore, you know it had to be there to make the cake.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy.
And from there, things get really fascinating.
Oh, I bet.
So Tyson brings up some truly exotic ideas
Yeah.
about what this dark matter could be.
Like what?
He mentioned exotic particles that interact only through gravity.
Oh.
And he even joked
Okay.
that particle physicists see every problem as a nail if they're holding a hammer.
Right.
So they're naturally drawn to a particle-based solution.
That's interesting.
And,
What?
that might resonate with you.
Yeah, for sure.
If you've ever seen how specialists approach problems within their fields,
Absolutely.
they kind of tend to use the tools they're familiar with.
It makes sense.
So the idea is there might be these fundamental particles out there
Okay.
that don't interact with light or the electromagnetic force, which is how we see things, and how most matter interacts.
Oh, okay.
So these particles would be essentially invisible to us.
Interesting.
But because they have mass, they'd still exert this gravitational pull.
Right.
It's almost like ghosts.
Hosts.
Yeah. They're all around us,
Uh-huh.
exerting gravity,
Yeah.
but we can't see or touch them
Right.
because they don't interact with light or regular matter.
So that's a pretty wild concept.
I know, right?
It is.
But then he takes it even further
Oh, no.
with this idea of gravity
Mm-hmm.
somehow spilling out from parallel universes.
Whoa.
That's some serious mind-bending stuff.
It really is.
So the concept here is that if our universe isn't the only one,
Uh-huh.
if there are others existing alongside it,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe gravity isn't entirely confined within each universe.
So you're saying...
What we perceive as this mysterious extra gravity dark matter could actually be the ordinary gravitational pull.
Oh, wow.
From another universe that's somehow leaking into ours.
That's like...
It's like seeing a shadow on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's being cast by something in another room you can't directly see.
Right.
And he used this great analogy of the blind men and the elephant.
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
Each one touches a different part and comes up with a totally different description.
Exactly.
So maybe our understanding of gravity is limited by our perspective within our own universe.
It's like we're only seeing part of the picture.
And this idea leads to the question of multiple universes.
The multiverse.
Exactly.
So cool.
And Tyson points out this historical pattern.
Okay.
So we used to think Earth was unique.
Right.
And then we discovered it was just one of many planets.
Yeah.
Then we realized our sun was just one star among billions in our galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So each time we've discovered, we're not as special as we thought.
So why should the universe be any different?
Exactly.
If nature seems to favor having multiple instances of things, why would the universe be a single entity?
It really makes you think.
It does.
And there are theoretical frameworks in physics
Oh, really?
that actually suggest the possibility of a multiverse, where our universe is just one among countless others.
That's incredible.
Perhaps with slightly different laws governing them.
Whoa.
But Tyson cautions that.
What does he say?
This also introduces a lot of uncertainty.
Okay.
Because the laws of physics we know might not apply in these other universes.
I see.
It's a fascinating but speculative area of research.
Super cool.
Now, Moyers asked Tyson
Yeah.
why his planetarium show felt more authentic than even the most imaginative science fiction.
Interesting.
And Tyson compared it to seeing the Apollo 11 command module
Oh, wow.
in a museum
Okay.
versus looking at a very realistic replica.
I get it.
So even if a replica is visually indistinguishable,
Right.
knowing that the object you're seeing actually traveled to the moon
Yeah.
adds this like profound layer of meaning.
I bet.
And so Tyson argued that his planetarium show, because it's grounded in real science, offers that same sense of authenticity.
Interesting.
It's like the difference between imagining something,
Right.
knowing it's real.
I see.
And he brought up this quote from J.B.S. Haldane.
Oh, okay.
The universe is not only stranger than we have imagined, but perhaps stranger than we can imagine.
Wow.
That's deep.
It is.
It makes you consider the limits of our human intuition.
For sure.
And it makes you wonder what else is out there that we haven't even begun to consider.
Exactly.
Real astrophysics is full of phenomena that are just far more bizarre and awe-inspiring than even the wildest science fiction.
Like what?
Black holes ripping apart stars.
Whoa.
The potential for life forms in extreme environments that we can barely conceive of.
Crazy.
Sometimes reality is more mind-blowing
Yeah.
than anything we could invent.
That's incredible.
It is.
And speaking of mind-blowing,
Okay.
if the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate because of the dark energy,
Yeah.
why don't we feel it?
Right.
Like in our daily lives.
It's not like you feel yourself stretching out or anything.
Good point.
So Tyson's explanation is all about the timescale.
Okay.
So our human lifespans are incredibly short
Right.
compared to billions of years.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference.
It is.
So he uses this helpful analogy.
Hey, Haker.
Think about clouds.
Right.
They look pretty static to us.
Yeah.
But if you watch a time lapse, you'd see them constantly changing and moving.
So it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
And the limited window of time that we humans experience.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And he extends this to geological timescales.
Okay.
The slow process of mountains being built, the shifts of ice ages, the long process of evolution and extinction. they're too slow for us to perceive directly.
So we need computers to help us.
Exactly.
For simulations to visualize these vast stretches of time.
He gave the example of galaxies colliding.
Okay.
We used to think some were just irregular, but simulations show that many are actually the result of galactic collisions.
Oh, wow.
Cosmic train wreck.
That's a great way to put it.
He even quoted Gerard de Vaucouleurs.
What did he say?
A wrecked Lexus is still a Lexus.
Ha-ha.
So even though they're all banged up,
right,
they're still galaxies.
They still have the same fundamental components.
That's a good one.
So what might seem like a static snapshot can be a dynamic process unfolding over millions or billions of years.
When we can simulate it?
Right.
Amazing.
Now let's talk about some myths getting busted.
Oh, I like this.
Moyers brought up Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
A classic.
As a child, you just accept it as a property of stars.
Right.
But the scientific reality is different.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Okay.
So that twinkling effect, it's actually caused by turbulence in Earth's atmosphere.
Okay.
Distorting the light as it travels from the stars.
Interesting.
Planets, on the other hand,
appear as tiny disks. So their light isn't as easily scattered.
I see.
And they don't twinkle as much. So people wishing on a star might actually be wishing on a planet.
That's funny.
It is.
Yeah.
So does Tyson ever feel bad about debunking these myths?
Right.
Like, does he feel sad breaking these illusions?
Moyers asked him that, and he doesn't feel bad at all.
Really?
He views it as respect for human intellect.
Huh.
So he used a powerful example.
Okay.
Epilepsy.
Yeah.
It used to be interpreted as demonic possession, but now science understands the neurological basis. We shouldn't cling to old explanations for things we now understand scientifically.
Makes sense.
We should direct our imaginations towards the vast unknowns of the universe.
Not the things we already know.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's a good perspective.
It is.
Now their conversation shifted to the Big Bang.
Oh, cool.
The beginning of everything.
Right. Moyers mentioned Edwin Hubble working backward to a single point.
Yeah.
But Tyson corrected him on that.
Really?
So while Hubble's observations were crucial, the initial calculation came from a Belgian priest and physicist named Georges Lemaitre.
Interesting.
And he found that combination particularly intriguing.
Physicist priest.
Yeah.
That is kind of fascinating.
It is.
And the term Big Bang itself?
Yeah.
I've always wondered about that.
So it was initially used in a negative way.
Oh, really?
Fred Hoyle,
a
proponent of the steady-state theory, he coined it to mock the idea. But the name stuck.
Wow.
And now it's the standard term.
Funny how that happened.
And Robert Jastrow likened the Big Bang to the explosion of a cosmic hydrogen bomb.
That's intense.
But even that image falls short
of
capturing the scale of the event.
It's hard to comprehend.
It really is.
So does Tyson give any credence to those who try to reconcile faith and reason? By suggesting the Big Bang implies a creator.
So Moyers asked, does Tyson give an A to those who are trying to reconcile faith and reason regarding a provoker of the beginning?
I see.
And Tyson was very clear. He doesn't believe those are ultimately reconcilable.
Oh, wow.
So throughout history, religious texts have made claims about the natural world. But those claims have been consistently inaccurate as our scientific understanding has grown.
Interesting.
Like the book of Genesis, describing creation in 6 days and stars falling to Earth.
Yeah.
Those are not how the universe works.
I see.
And so Tyson argues that the reinterpretation of religious texts as metaphorical often comes after scientific discoveries have contradicted the literal interpretations.
So science comes first.
Right.
Then the reinterpretation.
Exactly. And he distinguishes between what he calls enlightened religious people who accept science and fundamentalists who insert literal interpretations into science classrooms.
So he's saying science classes for science, not religious beliefs.
Exactly.
And he's clear on that.
He is.
Okay.
He believes in freedom of belief, but he also insists that non-scientific beliefs shouldn't be presented as scientific.
Right.
And he even mentioned how some religious people were troubled by Carl Sagan's opening line in Cosmos.
Oh, yeah.
The cosmos is all that is or ever was or ever will be.
I remember that.
They feared it negated God in the afterlife.
I can see why.
It's an understandable reaction.
It is.
But Tyson countered that.
What did he say?
Conceptions of God has evolved.
Oh, okay.
Many now embrace the idea of God within the cosmos.
I see.
More spiritual presence.
Right.
He even talked about the neurological basis for religious experiences, suggesting they come from the natural workings of the cosmos.
Interesting.
So while he has empathy, for those who find comfort in a personal God, he still opposes non-scientific philosophies in science classrooms.
So that's a firm line for him.
It is.
Okay.
Now, Moyers brought up a crucial point.
All right.
Some people might interpret dark matter as evidence of God.
Oh, wow.
This unseen force holding the universe together.
Right.
It's a natural connection for some.
I could see that.
And it's an example of what's called
what is it?
The God of the gaps.
Oh, okay.
So throughout history,
when
we couldn't explain something, we'd invoke divine intervention.
Interesting.
Like Isaac Newton, even Ptolemy with his earth-centered universe. They attributed the unexplained to God.
So we filled the gaps in our knowledge with God.
Exactly.
But what happens when science explains those gaps?
Right.
What happens to God then?
So Tyson's point is, if God is just the current mysteries of the universe, then God is shrinking.
Oh, wow.
As science explains those mysteries. That's deep.
So his challenge is,
what is it?
For religion to stay relevant. God has to mean more.
Okay.
Than just what science hasn't explained yet.
I see.
So in this deep dive,
Yeah.
We've explored some amazing ideas.
We have.
The unseen forces shaping the universe.
Yeah.
The vastness of time.
Mm-hmm.
The power of scientific discovery.
Yeah.
And the relationship between science and faith.
It's been a journey.
It has.
And ultimately, the
Yeah.
quest to understand the universe through science
Right.
is itself a source of wonder.
It is.
Perhaps the marvel is in the discovery
Exactly.
and the understanding it brings.
Not in filling the gaps with the supernatural.
It's something to think about.
It really is.
For sure.
So if God is tied to the mysteries of the universe,
Yeah.
what happens as science continues to unravel them?
That's the question.
It's a lot to ponder.
It is.
Maybe the quest for knowledge
Mm-hmm.
is a testament to the universe itself.
I like that.
It's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
It is.
Long after this deep dive is over.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.